First is sponsored by Ram Trucks, built to serve.
Taped live from New York, it's our Best of Football show. Today, we take you around the NFL to preview the best storylines of this upcoming season. That's all right now on the First Things First Best of Football show. We start with Tyreek talking here in the top spot in the NFL 100, and he's not shying away from letting you know about it. Here he is with Kay Adams. Take a listen.
Are you a better player than Patrick Mahomes?
Yeah, for sure. I'm him.
What's the argument?
I'm him. Chiefs fans already hate me or whatever because I won #1. But guess what, though? I'm like Charleston White. I already got the back end. I already won the award. It's over, man. So y'all can go cry and rain on somebody else's parade because I'm Big Cheetah and I'm #1 in the NFL, and there's nothing you can do about it. I didn't vote it. Your players on your team voted it because they know what's up, man. They know what's up. And I'm talking my trash this year, man, because you know why? Can't nobody guard me. I'm #1.
What, Wilds? I've seen him be confident before, and I've seen him be cocky and full of himself and like peak Cheetah. That wasn't it. That was something else. That was, I don't know what that was. I guess that's why the question is reaction.
Well, listen, I think he was wrong on the front end. Chiefs fans don't hate Tyreek Hill. Chiefs fans love Tyreek Hill. Yeah, Chiefs fans love what he brought to the team when he was there, delivering for the vast majority. If you're under 50, the only Super Bowl you've ever seen, and some of the most exciting plays you've ever seen in your life. They loved him when he was a Chief, and they love him playing against him now. Some of the best moments of last year were in games against Tyreek Hill. Trent McDuffie's kind of all-pro moment. I mean, we can show you the clips, I'm sure. This was overseas, strip, score, game-changing play. That was one of the highlights of the year. That might have been where the Chiefs got the idea to do all these Kelsey laterals. Worked so well. That play was a fun one in the playoff game when, again, McDuffie wasn't too cold, Tyreek was. And then this one, just getting mush-faced by L'Jarius Sneed. Another, like Tyreek, former great Chief champion, who now, so I disagree with Tyreek. Chiefs fans don't hate him. They love him, and they love playing against him. That's first of all. Second of all, I don't begrudge Tyreek this at all, Greg, because lists like this is now the only winning he's going to get to do. And so Tyreek's one of the 5 best receivers I've ever seen in my lifetime. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer, and he has proven that he can win, that he can produce in multiple offenses. Alex Smith, Patrick Mahomes, Tua Tagovailoa. But he's not going to be competing for championships as long as he's with Miami. And so these individual honors is what the top of the mountain really is for him. So I don't begrudge him any of it. I honest to God, I don't. I love the player, and I'm happy for him.
Yeah, if there's a moment you get to wear a crown and you've been voted the #1 best player, you better wear it. And that's what he's doing. Like, look, I don't knock his reaction. I think it's kind of tongue-in-cheek a little bit, but a part of him truly does believe he's better than Patrick Mahomes, and that he's better than every player in the National Football League. Because he believes, and you kind of have to have that mentality when you're a true competitor and you bring value the way that he's been able to bring it, to your point, in Kansas City, in Miami, despite who's been under center at the consistent rate that he's been. Like, he's always, when you comprise any list of receivers while he's been playing, he's going to be top 3. Like, he's just top 3. I'm not going to even say top 5. He's top 3. And so when you have that argument, you have the right to boast. And Wilds, I don't know, did you not like it, or was it just
felt like the way to really boast is, it's a great honor. I don't know. If he played it cool, I'd be like, wow, he is #1.
I think he played it that way
but I know it was a little
because
silly
he got so much pushback. Instant pushback.
Immediate
pushback. The story on this real quick. The story when it was announced was not Tyreek's #1. It was Mahomes isn't.
Yeah.
And so I think that's why he responded the way he did.
Well, when you look at, he had a great season last year. It was fantastic. He's had a couple great seasons, but he didn't break the record for receptions in a single season. He didn't break the record for reception yards in a single season. He didn't break the record for receiving touchdowns in a season. He wasn't the MVP. He didn't win the Super Bowl. He hasn't won a Super Bowl. He hasn't won an MVP. He had 119 catches, which is great. So he touched the ball 119 times. Patrick Mahomes handles the ball in the course of the season 1,100 times. So he gets the ball every single time. He's won multiple MVPs. His impact on the game, you can't compare the impact of a receiver to a quarterback.
Okay.
It's not even close.
Coach?
And look, if you want to celebrate,
all wide receivers.
100%.
if you want to celebrate a list that, look, great. Celebrate the list in, what are we, August?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. That's what his celebration time is.
Congratulations.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is it that side of the table that got you on this side now? Okay,
No,
so
it's just
here's where I
Patrick
will push
Mahomes,
back. Like,
Tyreek
no
Hill,
one,
it's like,
I don't believe
okay.
anybody will question the most important position
That's right.
on a team, as it pertains to football, is the quarterback. The most valuable position. And so when you take the most valuable position and you have arguably the best quarterback to ever do it at that position, obviously he's the best. Like, because of the value of the position. But if we're just talking about for this moment, can he have a moment? Can the receivers have some love be shown to them, please? Tyreek, boast, brag, celebrate.
He can have
you
more
already
than a
have a
moment.
Super Bowl.
Greg, he can have more than a moment. Ramsey the board.
I
He
knew it
can
was
be.
coming.
I mean, and listen,
I knew it was-
he is a board Hall of Famer.
Oh, wow, in
Which is
gold.
why he's in gold.
Exactly.
Last year he was on the board twice.
That's a jacket.
He already was on the special board for the tweets he sent to me and the other things he said. But I mean, it's very simple. People are like, "Oh, Nick, you're creating fake bulletin board material."
That is fake.
I'm better than Mahomes.
It's
is
what
what
the-
he said.
Prime
It's what the list suggests.
And
The list
he
is
was-
on there, too.
Yeah, by the way, the list is right there. You weren't here, Wilds. I had to put Caleb on there. Or maybe you
I was
were
here
here.
for
Oh,
that.
I'm sorry, you were here. My
Yeah.
apologies. I had to
He
put
just moved down.
Caleb because he said this is all legitimate. These are not fake. Michael Jordan saying, fat lever all of a sudden was talking trash when he wasn't.
Fat
These,
lever.
okay, who was it?
I don't know. But
Whomever
it was some rookie. Well, that's a good last dance trivia.
But
it was not
regardless,
Fat
this
Lever.
is all real. This is all real. And Tyreek, he is our first ever bulletin board Hall of Famer. Another offseason award that
And I
he can
think
win.
the Go Cry was a direct.
Yes.
That was another.
Yeah, that's fine. That's all right. I like Tyreek. I got no beef with Tyreek.
Before we move on,
I don't know if it's
LeBradford
legal.
Smith.
Bradford Smith. I get him and Fat Lever confused all the time.
Because Fat Lever does look a little bit like
LeBradford Smith.
Fat
Exactly
Lever.
right.
I'm always like, is that Fat
Lever? No, it's LeBradford Smith.
Yeah,
that's right.
Moving on. Here's Tyreek on his high expectations for Tua, who did lead the league in passing last year. Take a listen.
It's gonna be scary this year, man. I'm gonna call my shot. Like, he can be MVP candidate once again and even win the thing, man, because he's just that nice. Like, and I played with the best quarterback, which is Patrick Mahomes. Like, and I'm saying, like, he's up there in caliber wise.
Okay, see, I like serious Tyreek. I think when he's serious and not kind of in character.
I can't believe you made this graphic.
I did not make it. I don't know how to make the graphics. Josh made this graphic. It's the last 2 seasons. We know that Mahomes had a down year. We also don't have Super Bowl wins or playoff wins or wins
When
less
there's a
than
light
65
breeze or it's a little brisk.
But in the last 2 seasons, he's right there neck and neck. So I'm just saying it's not out of left field where some of the things Tyreek has said about Tua did seem to be out of left field.
But okay, go ahead.
No, you can have Tua MVP on the board.
No.
On the board?
Last year he led the league in passing yards and didn't get a single 5th place vote.
You know what it was?
What?
Bad marketing.
No.
Because
they
29
allowed-
total touchdowns. How many total touchdowns did Lamar have?
He had the 4th most interceptions. He couldn't beat
29.
a playoff team.
Yeah,
He was 10-1 against non-playoff teams. They faded down the stretch.
They faded
He
down
looked
the stretch. I
terrible in
know.
the playoffs.
I know.
Yeah.
And he is on the board. He's 9th on the board according to DraftKings. And that's probably right where he should be.
I don't buy draft.
Yeah, well,
Well, look, I'm not a
FanDuel.
gambler,
Man,
but I'd say that's exactly where he
He's
belongs.
chose violence today.
yeah. Yes. I mean, Wild.
He's
Yes.
When you said he had bad marketing, by that you meant they let the games be on TV?
No.
And people could see who the most valuable player on his own team was? Because that was Tyreek. Like, that's what when Tyreek showed up on the MVP ballots.
Tyreek got 60 votes.
Right, exactly.
Who's throwing the ball?
got
What is
zero.
he doing? Those handoffs?
No, but
End arounds?
Can I show you a number real quick? Because
Sure.
this is, I don't think it's on the board because I don't think he's good enough. But I know you're a Tua guy and your arguments are sound. The problem is Yes, there's the playoff team element, which is a problem. There's the cold weather element, which, yes, there's a problem. But there's also the fact that every year of his career, not just because of the elements, he has trailed off at the end.
Yeah.
So we can show it to you. The player he is September through November for his career, that is MVP caliber. Honest to God. And the player he is December through January is get benched caliber. And so, so I looked at that. I was like, is that just the cold weather?
Yeah.
It's not.
In 2021, he had 0 cold weather games in December, went 4-4 with a 75 rating. In 2022, before the final concussion, he only had 1 cold weather game down the stretch. And had an 81 rating. When I said 4-4, I meant touchdown interception ratio. And then it was 6 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. And then last year, I looked at the final game of the regular season. The reason they were in Kansas City, that game was in Miami. And I looked it up today. I was like, what was the weather on that January 7th evening in Miami? It was 71 degrees. And he threw for 170 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks, and a 63 rating. He has.
In fairness, that's chilly for Miami.
Okay, sure. But he has trailed off at the end of every year of his career, which is another reason I don't think it's on the board.
I'm with you here, and I got it's
not even on the board?
It's not on the board, and I'll add to why. But I said it because the season that he had, how he started off last year, is just not sustainable. The way that he's played, you just alluded to it with all the numbers. I don't even have to go down that road, but I'll go down another path. Another reason why it's not even on the board. And you've said this about another player because of the talent that's surrounding that other player,
Purdy.
Brock Purdy. It's not on the board because of who he plays with. There's no way we watch the Miami Dolphins and we look at that team and they're having success and our attention doesn't go to Tyreek Hill. It just doesn't happen. You said this, and I kind of.
It's hard if you're not the best player on your own side of the ball. If you're not the best
player on your own side of the ball, and when we think of your team, and when we think of impact players on your team, you're not the first one we think of. It's not on the board.
Mahomes was kind of like immunized from that because
correct.
Even though he had
even with Tyreek, I think when people thought of the Chiefs, they thought of Mahomes.
Yes.
People didn't think Tyreek was better than him.
Because he kind of helped birth the whole Tyreek identity of Cheetah.
Yeah.
Like that was a part of Patrick Mahomes' coming out party. Go ahead, Coach.
No, I absolutely agree with
All right,
you.
can I ask you a question then, Coach?
Yes.
All right, so I put down 3 things he needs to do to win MVP. Straight up more touchdowns. Like that was Mahomes' 50 touchdown year. So he had 29 total touchdowns. I think it's going to be hard because he's not getting a lot of total touchdowns. He's really just getting them through the air. So throwing touchdowns, he was 5th, but when you do total touchdowns, he goes down to 10th. That's not going to get it done. 2, strong finish, which you talked about. 3, little bonus. No mercy. If you get a chance to run up the score, remember they took their foot off the gas. He was out of the game. If you're going to run up the score on somebody, do it. But the question I have for you is this. This cold weather thing that Brew loves, and it does seem to be an actual issue with Tua, is there a way to actually train that or coach that or be like, they do silly stuff that doesn't pass the smell test of turning up the air conditioning before the Arrowhead game? Is there an actual way to be like, hey, we need to get better in the cold weather, but we all live in Miami?
Well, when we were in New England, we used to struggle when we'd go down to Miami because of the heat. And then early on, it was like, well, why don't we wear the white uniforms? We tried that and got our heads beat in. Why don't we do this? Turn up the temperature. We got our heads beat in. I remember Bill came in and said, hey, guess what, fellas? It's hot in Miami. Deal with it. And the reality is
that could be some of it.
It's one of those things where if you're going to let that be what defines your experience,